I've asked Mr. Thomas Pfister Tom, why don't you come up right up here?
Okay.
To come to our meeting to present a proposal for an increase, a slight increase in the cost of our school lunch. Tom actually is the director of school lunch, the school lunch program through the United BOCES. It services multiple school districts. I don't even know the number anymore, Tom, so sorry.
12 plus 2 new ones coming in.
And New Hartford School District is one of the districts that participate in the school lunch program, which has been very successful for us over the years. So I will turn it over to you, Tom, to present what the proposal is to the committee.
Just to start it out, school food services, we've been in a huge revamping over the last few years with new regulations set forth by the Obama administration. It's hit us pretty hard. Long story short, the amount of children buying meals across the board nationwide is way down, and schools have really been hit hard on their bottom line, including our program. Like Mary said, our program encompasses 12 school districts, of which New Hartford is one, and 28 school buildings. And even with that kind of model of efficiency and the efficiency of scale there, we've still had major losses over the last 2 years. So we went back to, I spoke with my boss and the BOCES board, and we haven't had a price increase since 2008 on our lunch price. It's been $2 a meal since 2008. So we're going to raise it to $2.25 as of September, just to try to offset some of those losses. Now, the thing that I'm most concerned of is a lot of times, historically, when you raise your lunch price, you lose more participation. Probably hits a school like New Hartford a little heavier than, say, a school like Waterville that has a higher free and reduced price percentage. But we have to, we have to be fiscally solvent, and we have to be responsive to the school districts and to the school communities. So we're going to go to $2.25 in the fall, and again, hopefully offset some of those losses. This past year was year 2 of the new guidelines, and 2012, 2013 was a nightmare. It was the first year of the guidelines. They're very restrictive. We lost almost 2,000 students a day across the board of all the schools. This year we actually bottomed out, and we've started a slow turnaround. And we've been able to manipulate within the regs how to get offerings out to the students that are more acceptable on a more timely basis. So this year, actually, the bottom line will be a little better than last year, but we're still deeply in the hole. Why I'm saying that is that it's going to take time. We got back this year about 400 students a day out of those 2,000. I think the worst is over, but we still have to be very, very careful on everything that we do. We're very, very nervous about the pending snack guidelines that are up for implementation as of September 1st, that they're going to severely limit the snacks that are allowable in schools. There may be a 1-year or 2-year reprieve that should be coming out in July, which should help us. But all in all, coast to coast, we're right with other districts. We're no better, we're no worse. Our meals are certainly within the guidelines, and we're just going to keep fighting the fight.
So, I always thought New Hartford cooked their own food, so we don't cook it's all from BOCES?
Yes, but they cook their own food. It's just the administration of the program.
And we buy all the food through BOCES and all
right.
that? Oh, okay.
So we have that economy of scale, which helps us with purchases.
And so, we don't really have a choice in this. This is just a courtesy letting us know this is coming and why.
Right.
So this isn't something that we're being asked to approve, right?
Right.
Okay.
There's another law that was passed several years ago. It's the school lunch equity pricing law, which says your school lunch price needs to be at a level that is the difference between the cost of putting out a reimbursement of a free meal versus a paid meal. Our meals technically should be $2.65 a meal to meet that guideline. Well, guess what? we're not gonna charge $265 a meal. So if we just show the government that we're making slow but steady progress towards that, then we'll be fine. We've been told that the $225 is fine. We chose to do that rather than go up a nickel or a dime a year. We waited since 2008, and now we're just gonna go up a quarter, hold that line for 3 or 4 years, and then maybe look at it again.
Tom, is it $225 for all the schools, for high school too?
Yes.
High school too? And when it's free or reduced lunch, so the government reimburses you like a bigger
Right.
a bigger percentage of the
Right.
$225, yeah. And then my last question, I'm not on this committee, but I have a question. What about like some kind of like a campaign, like to get the kids to like, like almost like, like a PR campaign, like get the kids to buy their lunch or something, I don't know. Like,
That's what we're doing. We're starting off a PR campaign in August, and right on. I think that we've got to, we're governed more by perception than
Yeah.
what we're actually doing.
Right.
A lot of people look at us and say, oh yeah, but have you been in the cafeteria in the last couple of years? And the answer is usually no. So we've got a PR campaign. For those schools that are in a breakfast program, we're offering free breakfast for the whole month of September to the entire student body to try to get students in and in that habit of eating breakfast. Unfortunately, we can't afford to do that for lunch, but that's going to be one piece of a PR campaign. We're talking radio, TV, billboards.
Really?
We want people to know
Okay.
what's going on. And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know, other than, those within the school community that have an eye and ear open to it. So, yeah. that's
Good,
definitely-
good.
Have you ever, I'm sorry, have you ever thought of charging different for high school versus elementary? It seems like an 18-year-old boy is gonna eat more than a 9-year-old.
I get a 9-year-old, that's fine.
There are a lot of doubles to explain what they're doing on.
Yeah, the $225 just covers the cost of a basic reimbursable lunch.
So for that amount, so I think pizza day, does the 18-year-old get the exact same lunch as the kindergarten?
They get the exact same entree size, but the
For
portion
$2.25.
sizes for the vegetables and the fruits might be a little different. Because there is a calorie requirement that has to be met by the grade groups.
So they just throw away more?
Yeah, they throw away more. than
Yes,
pizza.
exactly. We have very expensive crab schools.
Yeah. Okay.
So, have you ever, because my son has a combination, I think, of cafeteria and regular, but he can go through the days and tell you what they don't like, what they do well. Everybody eats this, so what we do is we eat this part of it. Do you survey the students and say, what do you like, what do you not like? Something like pizza day is the big day.
Right.
They love pizza day. And then there's one like chicken finger day or something like that, that's a big day. But then there's the heated day they don't like, or taco or something like that, they don't like that. And so I just wondered, how often do you change the repertoire of what's offered in response to that?
Quite a bit. 2 years ago, we did the big brown bag study, which is we surveyed over 500 students spread out among our schools, face-to-face, with a format that kind of pulls information out of them. We did that 2 years ago, and then we compared what we're doing versus what mom and dad are sending in the brown bags just to do nutritional analysis, and it's quite scary what's coming in from home. But our menus, to answer your question, our menus are a reflection of what the students are buying. That's why we do pizza every week, and then in January, we started doing pizza twice a week, sometimes. We're governed a little bit about with the commodities. We still have to work in the government commodities, so we get, if I get a load of diced chicken, I have to come up with either buffalo chicken pizza or chicken quesadillas. I've got to use it up. So sometimes you got to work in a day like that, and we'll get a load of taco meat, so I've got to use that up. So it's got to be a balance between what they love versus what we have to work in. And invariably, it turns into a lot of chicken. That's what kids want. They want something they can grab in their hand and put down. And so, but yes, that's what they want, not what I want. Absolutely.
I do have to just, how I am about because we talked about this as well in this committee about the lunch bag. I mean, I think one of the things about what you said that isn't entirely fair is that what the school offers, by virtue of the fact that it has to last for a long time, it's highly processed, highly enriched food. So even though I may send in an apple that doesn't have as much vitamin C as a highly enriched juice that you're offering, it's still not highly processed. And I think, you know, to your point about a PR campaign, I think what's out in the media is that, and there's a lot of scientific data that demonstrates that highly processed food that's re-enriched is not quite as healthy over the long term as food that's less processed and closer to how it was grown or how it was produced in the first place. So I hear what you're saying, and my kid would still gleefully eat a chicken McNugget, but I don't think it's a fair comparison to say, well, you know, there was more vitamin C in what we were providing, or iron, or whatever, because what we're offering is by virtue of what it is, highly refined. It's re-enriched. It's not what was there, it's what we stuck with.
Some of the entree products are processed, yes. But again, every menu every day is strictly whole grain breads and rolls, and there are fresh fruits and fresh vegetables on every menu every day. Unfortunately, garbage cans see a chunk of that. We still put that in. And, yeah, and I can't disagree. I can't say that, you know, we're using whole muscle meat chicken across the board, although the chicken tenders are. It's quite pricey.
All right. Thanks, John. Appreciate it very much.
Have a good day. Thanks.
Next item,
Everyone received this in your Friday letter regarding NHCS New Hartford Partners.
We played
Also
Happy
known
in the
as,
summer.
Five Guys Club. So, if you're one of it is, excellent. We ended up, that case was discontinued. I just said earlier, I was two weeks here. So this case was discontinued for all of the years exclusively, so refund, total refund request was
Are they grieving their assessment? Or can they can grieve it moving forward now then?
I believe that they have to wait one more year, which is 2012, so we are in 2014, wait, this year, Okay, and just one more thing, it's an other that isn't on the agenda, it's more positive, and I'll give you more details in Friday. But we just received results of a quote on the stop loss insurance, the health insurance committee item. We received quotes and were able to save $108,000 over the previous year for stop loss insurance, where we were anticipating, in the market, anticipating approximately the same amount as an increase. But the RFP went out, there were 7 companies that responded, and different, questions were answered about specific people being laser or not lasers, it's a term.
Grandfathered in, so
Right, so, based on that information, we're compensating with the current stop loss period that we have, and QBE is the name of the company, so that was a great positive that just came in.
How are they able to make such a huge difference?
So many of the other, because they do have the detailed information, and some of the other companies, whether they have the information or not, there were specific lasers, which significantly increases the cost.
We had a good year last year.
Meaning, right, and meaning any claim above $100,000 for the year per person, come into what's called the stop loss carrier, that's where it's covered by this specific insurance.
That's a function of being self-insured, correct?
Yes. So that was a great win for us. And we don't have to shop this every year. We just, each year we look at what we think the increases are going to be, and if there's any for savings, this is what so it did work out positively for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, any other business for budget and finance? So we will adjourn the meeting at 6:02.
I gotta have a hot lunch. How are you? Better.